What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and you check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about a statement that Stefon Diggs made, right? And like a lot of times, this is what happens. Like with young people, they don't really learn the lessons, life lessons, a lot of life lessons until it's too late, right? And I was this video right here. I think the guy name is AQ or something like that, and he's playing a clip of a statement that Stefon Diggs made about if he had it all to do over again, he would do it different, right? As far as like how he his public persona, his public image, right? So what I want to do is I'm gonna play the audio from this guy's his podcast, and then I'm gonna give my reaction. But before that, I just want to say that this is like I always say that that's like your public image is your your brand is that's where your money is. Even after like once you finish entertaining and playing football or whatever, your public that's your brand, and for this generation of people to come up during the social media era and focus so much on their brand and continue to make these kind of mistakes, I don't get it. Back in the day before social media, people were even more conscious of what they did publicly or what they said publicly, and wasn't even no social media out there. But the fact that they didn't want to say stuff that would like bring shame to their family or embarrass their family, that was enough, right? Now you got social media out there. Everybody want to be seen. Everybody want to be heard, but for all the wrong things, right? So let me play what Stefon Diggs said. You know,
Creating boundaries and structure and like so important, and I'm valuing privacy way more than I ever did before. I mean, life shown me like the more exposed you are, the more problems you'll run into, the more people you run into. Like when you just kind of keep it tight knit, like you leave everybody to wonder what's what or what he's thinking. Like me, I've always been a person who never say nothing. I don't say nothing. I just grind and I just kind of like put the time and put the work in, and I just let the work speak. But like, yeah, you gotta be very careful what you say, like what you speak, because God gonna give you exactly what you ask for. Like, I had a background on my phone that said like, "It's Kobe Bryant. It's like have a hard year," and I'm thinking like football, like grinding, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard. I gotta put the time in. I gotta grind, like. But like, this was the hardest year of my life in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, battling an injury, coming back from that, being under a microscope, like being in my first like public relationship and shit like that, shit that I never even thought about. So when I say like,
get my nigga done right now. All right, so let me stop it right there, right? So he spoke about the grind, and see, a lot of athletes figure that if they play hard and they have success on the field, that would take care of everything, right? But that's only part of it. You have to protect your brand, and like I said, you know, back when I was a kid, like people they just didn't want to bring embarrassment to their family, because like your name, your last name, like an adult will come up to you and say, "What's your name?" And you're telling your name, like, "Oh, okay, you such and such son, right?" Or you such and such, yeah, that's your uncle, or something like that, right? So when you out there in the streets, you out in public, you want to carry yourself and conduct yourself in a certain way. But I don't see this generation who's supposed to be so media savvy, so much more when it comes to more brand awareness and stuff like that. They make these simple mistakes. you know, um, like once Kobe left the NBA, like I just see most of these new age guys just make basic mistakes, saying stuff publicly or doing things publicly that they know that they have no business doing, right? And then it's just so hard to repair that once you fight, you find yourself in those type of situations. It's just like like if you get a prison record and you rehabilitate yourself, but people still go back and check your records, and so eh, you is if you can avoid certain situations altogether, you'll just save yourself so much time and effort. Then you won't have to worry about, and everybody make mistakes, but certain mistakes, you shouldn't have to make every mistake in the book and then rehabilitate yourself, or redeem yourself, because it's just a lot of time and a lot of effort. Then some people still don't allow you to live it down, right? So let's get back to some more of what
Get my niggas in right now. The streets is calling me. The streets is calling me.
No, fellas, look, Diggs just confirmed what I've been telling you guys all along. If you go back to my old videos, I've been said this was going to happen. Once a man aligns himself with a woman with that Jezebel spirit, it's impossible for him to thrive. It's impossible for him to elevate, because that woman is only there because right now your energy is high. Your aura is enormous. When a man is doing great in life, he will attract a lot of women. The only problem is those women are who they are. You got to understand, birds chase instant gratification.
All right, so all right, so this guy is more so the guy who came on after Stefon Diggs, and this is his way, his YouTube channel. He attributing the downfall of Stefon Diggs to Cardi B, when that's not the, like Stefon Diggs, even before he met Cardi B, had a reputation of being a womanizer and a ladies' man, right? So I'm not going to assess that blame to Cardi B, and even if he didn't have the reputation of being a womanizer, as a grown man, it's your decision to make certain moves and not make certain moves. So you can't really blame that on Cardi B. I didn't really, from what Stefon Diggs, I didn't get the impression that he was blaming it on Cardi B, what he's going through. And so I wouldn't attribute that to Cardi B, because I mean, like I said, as an adult, you can't, as a grown man, you can't say, well, if I had never met her, or if I had did this or did that with her, and I allow her to bring me down. It wasn't that. This was a situation, in my opinion, that Stefon Diggs put himself into. Now are there some women that that you don't want to associate with, or allow in your life? Yeah, that's true, and that goes the same thing for women, right? Some women should know to stay away from certain men, like men that have a bad boy type image, or men that that really don't, they're not trying to really go anywhere with you or do anything in a positive manner. So that conversation could cut both ways. And I would say the same thing to a woman, like that's your responsibility. Like, I'm not blaming Cardi B for anything. I'm not blaming Cardi B and saying, well, she shouldn't have let this guy take her down. That's all on her. Both of these people are responsible for themselves, and both of them, have to make adult decisions based on, for themselves, so they got together. She can't blame him. He can't blame her, but you don't want to be in a position where you're learning from, life too short, where you just constantly learning through trial and error, especially when you don't have to. Like, you had people who came before you, and all you have to do is just look at the people who came before you and see how they managed these situations, how this, what happened, what results they got. But if you think that you can just go out here and do anything you want, and especially if you're in a public, you're in a public light, under the spotlight, like somebody like Stefon Diggs, who's a very popular NFL football player, then you setting yourself up for failure. Now, Stefon Diggs is the kind of guy, he's very charismatic, right? And very well liked around the NFL. And people just generally like him, right? He could have taken the fact that he's a charismatic type person and used that to his advantage in a good way, like for marketing, like I said, for your brand. People like you, capitalize on that, and then, cultivate that. And then, so once you step away from football, like, football is not your biggest paycheck. It's crazy for somebody to say, well, wow, man, you make so much money playing football, but the goal should be to make once you retire from football to continue to get them big checks, but you gotta protect your brand in order to do that. So if you're protecting your brand, then somebody like Cardi B won't be able to affect you won't even, you can't blame that on Cardi B. Like when you go to meetings with sponsors and people that want to partner and do business with you, you can't tell them that, yeah, I would have handled things differently, but I was with Cardi B at that time. It don't work like that. You know, you gotta, you know, people don't accept those kind of excuses. So if they're not going to accept those kind of excuses, then you can't make those kind of excuses. You gotta, you know, just basically, you know, just own up to it, right? And so, yeah, protect your brand at all times, man. I just hate to see Cardi B or this guy Stefon Diggs, you know, like certain things they do publicly, and you're not gonna be able to get out of it, you know, or it's gonna be hard to get out of it. So, and change people's public perception of you, you know. And so that's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video.